Remember how the start of this video is a little confusing? Let me clarify. I do not have mental illness. It is fucking insane to pretend that I have a mental illness. I'm the only one talking sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only one on the entire planet talking pure sense. Okay, no gameplay nonsense, no stupidity. You know, so keep that in mind when you hear the sequence of words that are used and how they, might try to take it kind of context. Okay. Okay, so remember they're changing my voice again. I think it's fair to say that nobody cared about people in a way that is authentic, right? And not some kind of mental illness, more than I have, you know. And I get people want to be proud of themselves, but, I've been trying to say the whole time, and I've been saying it the whole time, that they're going about it wrong. So we look at the Freemasons and these different Greco-Roman societies and fraternities that want to elevate the Greek body, and you see, this picture on the screen, right? You see the connection between Hephaestus is a god of fire and crafts. He has an equivalent called Vulcan. Where we get the word volcano from what I gather. And how the fire relates to the craft, and there's the fire in the hearts of man, the minds of man, what have you. There's God as a consuming fire in the Bible, so there's some craftsmen trying to control, the religious narrative. And of course, he has a certain craftsman shape. Now me, what I'm saying, if a craftsman's working hard in this system that is actually serving God, what I'm saying, more power to him. If he's trying to serve, he's trying to the best he can to help his family, what I'm saying, that's that. That's not my problem. I don't care if you're shaped like the steak puft marshmallow man, I don't care if you're shaped like Ronald McDonald. Okay, I care that people aren't loyal to God, and I don't care if they look like me. You know what I mean? Like they could be my twin brother or something. That's not the problem. You know what I mean? And so as I see this thing, this craftsman thing, and them changing my shape and so on and so forth, and editing my pictures, and have me looking different ways. Sometimes I look weird, and long neck, skinny, red lips, gay faced. All my pictures, all my images are changed. And I don't think that it's fair. I don't think it's right. Obviously, I've been very mad at my videos, so on and so forth. So you see the pictures. I'm going to put some Greek picture where they talk about the Greek god body. I think it's very important that you understand that that is a real thing. There's people who work out trying to look like that. There's statues, right? Statue, statement, right? State of mind, right? The state, like the United States, the state of California. Sometimes the government, the national government is referred to as the state, right? Separation of church and state. So they're making a fashion statement, bodybuilding, right? The builders, the masons, architects, engineers, you know what I mean? Electricians, what have you. And obviously, some of these guys are scientists, some of these guys are just businessmen, and so on and so forth. So you see what I'm saying. Now, when you look at, the Romeo must die arguments, you know what I'm saying? I think it was particularly cruel and repugnant, and I don't understand the logic behind it. Whether you have a gay agenda, whether you're trying to promote white supremacy, Jewish supremacy, what have you, token minority alliances, trying to make them feel more comfortable and make them feel superior to the other people of their race, right? The crypto Jews and whatnot. Okay, it was still stupid and foolish, you know what I mean? To separate me from attractive women. So you're separating me from my shape, you're keeping me from doing martial arts, fuming me, and so on and so forth. So, I think that everybody needs to understand that if they, take offense at my videos. I mean, back when I made my first series, by the third video, this is back in, 2009, mind you. The first original channel is already down, right? It was platinum, platinum loco, not because I'm crazy, but, I was trying to kind of have a fun kind of name and so on and so forth. And the world is crazy. And at the time, it was popular for thugs to name themselves that. I'm pretty sure it probably still is, And that was that. Okay? And by the third video, I explained, I said, look, I'm not racist. I'm part white. You know what I'm saying? Do I hate half myself, so to speak? And I said things like this. So, to me, going back to the other topic, to me, it's rather strange, why would they want to interfere with me in my love life? Okay? They don't need to do that. It's the greatest love that would have ever occurred, and now you just ruined everything, right? What happens when you do something like that? I want everyone to think about the spiritual implications, think about their family implications. You know what I'm saying? You present him, it's going to be prevented me from having offspring that were actually in a family, a valid family, okay, raised by me, okay, that, could potentially marry people in your families. You see what I'm saying? So it's so damn stupid, that they're denying the possibility of becoming a family with God's family in the most respectable and valid way. Okay, so now that could never happen. Everyone's being sealed off from heaven and so on and so forth. All marriages are a joke. You may as well have a circus clown marriage because it's not serious, and they did that. You know what I mean? And what did they do that for? Imagine you're Elon Musk or Bill Gates or whatever. You got billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Why do you need to persecute me? I grew up in, I lived in a rich city first, so I don't want to give too much information out there. And then I lived in, unincorporated Morgan Hill for so long. Best years of my life, middle of nowhere, went to reform school, got kicked out of reform school, for keeping it real, keeping it lit, for sneaking in marijuana twice. And then I got kicked out of, and they're on you much more than they are in juvenile hall. They're on you tough about stuff like that. And I got kicked out of boot camp, basically, got sent to the mental hospital there because I went through the motions of trying to kill myself to get me out of that boot camp, because these people at this camp, they didn't let you write home or call home. So my only chance to call home and try to convince them to take me back at that time was to do something like that. And so I had a hard life. I missed out, I didn't go to the prom. I mean, we can go on and on. I'm not exactly crying, I didn't go to the prom. I don't give a fuck about the prom on the one hand, but on the other hand, you look at it, how I missed out on so much of life, and they're trying to get me to settle, trying to get me to be gay, and it's stupid, you know what I'm saying? The best thing for them to do is just to stop, think about their offspring, so on and so forth. I know, like, a lot of these people like to pretend they're Satanists, or, basically be Satanists. So basically they are Satanists, and they're leading the kids astray, and it's stupid, and they're not using their head, and they're disassociating in a way that's bad for them and the future of humanity, while in an organized manner, forging the new world order, forging, transhumanist body types, taking data from different people, including from this case, to try to make it so other people seem like they're ideal, after I'm gone. It's stupid, okay? Because let's look at this thing now. When you look at the history of the groups of people, okay, not trying to insult anybody, not racist, what have you, we see that they cannot be seen as ideal, in reality. You have to be one racist, tribalist, ethnocentric to such an extreme and fanatic and petty and satanic and greedy degree to believe them. Okay, because we look at, what is a jock, what is a skater, what is an emo, what is a nerd, what is a social club guy, what is a Beverly Hills person, what is the Hamptons, what is the rich person from London, who are these rich people in the world, rich person from France. You're not just going to merge one day as in the ideal mind, body, soul, and spirit. How could that be? You're from the tree of colonialism, right? Neo-colonialism. Whether you were French raping a Native American person or an indigenous person, or English, does it matter? German? You say, well, that wasn't us. We do the same thing, but that wasn't us. We're from the same kind of Neo-Greco-Roman thinking, but we that's not us. That's fucking retarded. Whether you're a jock from, England or America or France, what I'm saying, doesn't matter. You can't ever be ideal because that's who you are, right? Wig-wearing people, class clowns, rock and roll, heavy metal, skaters, surfers, snowboarders. These guys aren't intense, morally and holy martial artists. The churches, right? The church is a shared root word as circus, right? Kirk, Circe, right? Circus. It's a fucking kangaroo show. It's a circus. So, again, I know some people take these things seriously or whatever, at least they used to. But this is the fact of the matter. When you're persecuting the most righteous guy that ever was and you can't be seen as ideal anyway, I mean, surely, as groups of people, you got to look at this thing and say, what the fuck? We know for sure that this is the worst idea in human history. And we know for sure we can never truly be seen as ideal. And the more we sabotage colored people, the more we sabotage white people who are poor and so on and so forth, who by association, mind you, cannot be seen as ideal either. So if they try to pull fast, well, I'm actually from a poor family, and I'm actually Tarzan mixed with, Pharaoh or something. It doesn't work that way. People don't see it that way. That's like looking for the heavyweight boxing champion, for example, in a little girl, in the category of little girls from preschool. You don't pick figs from thistles. We're not no one with sense will ever look for ideal in white Jewish or LGBT groupings or token minority groupings. And there's going to come a point like in 2050, and it's already obvious already, mind you, after I'm gone and dead for years, they're going to look at this thing and say, what the fuck, man? What the hell? Why are you even alive right now? After all this abuse, all this sex called nonsense, all the evil in store in the future, it doesn't allow for anyone to be seen as ideal. Even some poor guy, Aborigine guy, or poor Middle Eastern, poor African guy, it can't be done. Okay? Ideal is the idea that Horus is superimposed on. Because there's no depiction of Horus that is perfect. But the perfect depiction of the royal African falcon, black African, mulatto, light skin, what have you, tall, dark, and handsome, skywalking, in truth, not in technological age, where if it's allowed to emerge, we know it's bullshit. And even if people are confused about that 200 years from now, imagine 200 years from now, imagine 20 years from now, imagine any significant time period from now. It can't be done. They can never be seen as ideal. They can never be seen as Christ coming back. They can never be seen as an ideal offspring of Pharaoh. It can't be done. So why are they persecuting the most righteous God that ever lived? Why cheat me out of mine? You see what I'm saying? And you'll always be that planet and that human race, if you want to call it that cheated the most righteous guy that ever lived. Out of the best years of his life, didn't correct your mistake. You didn't say, what have I done? Like Anakin Skywalker, after he killed Mace Windu in Star Wars. You did not do that. You kept going. You didn't say, hey, we fucking sealed our offspring off from heaven. They can possibly be redeemed now. You kept going. You said it's not enough to have persecuted him to the point where he can't have a valid successor. But we're going to keep persecuting him and his family and keep giving him a hard time. Incidentally, I'm not moved in the slightest. Even if the whole world was tortured right now to the fucking extreme, I wouldn't buckle. Okay? Because that's nothing compared to offending God. Nothing.